Joining me now is Gary McFarlane, the Northern Ireland Director of the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health. Very good evening to you, Gary. Thanks for joining us here on LBC News. What's your reaction to this?
Well, good evening, Chris, and thanks for the invitation on the programme. Well, I mean, frankly, we're very, very disappointed in this decision. I think that there's three key points to make probably. Whether or not fracking in this country can produce enough gas to do what the government are hoping, i.e. reduce our reliance on foreign gas, is debatable. What the Chancellor has actually said himself is that it won't certainly do anything to reduce the price of gas. But secondly, there are clear and very well documented evidence around the detrimental environmental impacts of fracking. And I think thirdly, and equally as importantly as all of that, we need to be decarbonising and moving away from fossil fuels and investing in energy technologies that do that, not harnessing ourselves to a type of fuel that, the evidence again is very clear, we have to reduce our reliance on.
Is it such a controversial subject because of what local communities experienced with these minor earthquakes when fracking got underway? It was paused in 2019, wasn't it?
It was, and yes, my understanding is that there was some exploratory drilling that caused some minor earthquake tremors. I think that people are. I think it's just a very. People are very cautious about this because there are some very clear potential negative impacts that I've already alluded to. We know that it releases lots of methane, which is going to accelerate greenhouse gas, which is 5 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So from a climate change perspective, it's not a good idea. We know that there's potentially real issues with water. It's a very water intensive process. It creates noise. And as I've said, equally as importantly, it's still linking us to a fossil fuel. I mean, that's an inescapable fact. The science around climate change is very clear. The government pledges around what we need to do to reduce our carbon reliance are also very clear. I cannot see how this decision fits with that at all.
Isn't the likelihood that we're going to need to use sort of the resources in terms of these fossil fuels for a little while yet, till we can rely on greener energy in the future?
Well, I mean, the technology in terms of green energy already exists. The battery storage facilities for solar and wind is already there. That's what we need to be investing in now.
That's not perfect either, is it? One of those battery packs blew up in America yesterday.
Nothing is perfect. I think, we can go round and round the houses on this. There are negative consequences to everything. But what is very clear is that climate change is probably the greatest public health challenge that this generation has faced, possibly the greatest public health challenge the world has ever faced. In my opinion, the consequences of that will make COVID look like a walk in the park. And we need to we should have started a long time ago, but we need to address that. And investing in fossil fuels is not the way to do it.
Do you think local communities should be able to decide whether or not fracking takes place within their community or not?
I think that communities should certainly need to be engaged in the development of any of these kind of projects. Community engagement is absolutely vital. There is, of course, communities are opposed, for example, to wind farms as well. And to wind energy as well. So, we talked a minute or so ago about there is no perfect solution, and that is the case. There is, there are negative consequences of almost everything in life when you sit down and analyse it. But it's a question of what is the least worst option, really, I think, when it comes to our energy pathway for the future. I certainly think that, communities need to be involved in any decisions that directly impact them.
Well, really good to talk to you this evening, Gary. Thank you very much for joining us here on LBC News. That's Gary McFarlane, Northern Ireland Director of the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health.